everybody, welcome. Today's stretch session is going to focus on the hips. So when we're sitting a lot during the day, these hip flexors here in the front tend to get really tight. And even if we're moving around and more active, we still get a lot of tightness around both the hip flexors and the glutes. So these are just muscles that tend to be chronically tight in a lot of people. So it's worth just dedicating some time to opening up all of these muscles in and around the hips. And that's what we'll do today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You will need a rope or some sort of stretching tool. So if you don't have a rope, you can use a necktie, a rolled up towel, or a yoga strap instead. We won't use that just yet, but we'll use that later on. Okay, let's bring our legs nice and wide. And we'll just take a nice deep breath in, inhale up. And exhale, bring the arms down. Nice job. We're just going to begin to very gently and slowly slide forward, finding your personal boundary of tension at this moment. And realize that the boundary of tension is a moving target. So we hope that as the body becomes more limber and flexible, that boundary will move further away and then you can follow it. So just finding your boundary at this time. Just settling into this space. While we're here, let's just close the eyes a moment. Center the body and the mind. Try to clear your mind. Release and let go of any lingering stresses, tensions, worries, or to-do lists, so that we can be completely present here and now in this moment. Let's walk the hands back. And now just rotate the body to one side. And again, we're going to do the same kind of motion coming forward, but now we're concentrating the stretch over this one leg. Try here to relax the upper body, take any tension out of the shoulders. Feel free to drop the head down toward the knee. Gently easing out of that, come back to the center, rotate to the other side, and same thing here, just drop the chest over the leg. Let's ease up out of that. You may have noticed that you had differences between your two sides. Maybe one was a little more flexible than the other. Totally normal, but something good to take note of in your own mind. Let's come back to the center. Inhale, prepare. And exhale, slide forward. You might notice that your boundary of tension has moved a little bit. I know mine certainly has. Take some nice deep breaths. And for these stretching sessions, the breaths can be nice deep belly breaths. You don't need to breathe in the Pilates rib cage style breath. It's actually better if you take deep belly breaths because those tend to be more relaxing for the body. Let's walk the hands back. And come on up. Ease the legs in gently. And now if it's comfortable for you, just roll over the legs or come to this kneeling position in another way. Now from here, we're going to lift up and borrow just a little bit from yoga in a camel pose. So what that looks like is we're up here and we're just going to press the hips forward as we lift the chest kind of up and back. If it's more comfortable here, you can have the knees slightly apart. So you do what kind of works for you here. All right, so I'm just going to press my hips forward. I'm going to lift my chest, drop my shoulders down and back. And for me, it's helpful to have a little support from my low back. So I'm going to place my hands right there at my low back. You should be feeling an opening here through the hip flexors. Okay, these are the muscles right now that we're stretching. So send your energy and attention down to those muscles. What's helpful for me is as I breathe, I try to breathe into the muscles that I'm trying to relax. So imagine sending my air down to the hip flexors and then exhale the tension away. Easing out of this gently and return to the kneeling position. Nice job. Let's now turn to the side and we're going to move into a crescent pose. These are a little intense. They feel like hard work for the legs, but they provide an awesome stretch for the hip flexors. So we're going to bring one leg forward, doesn't matter which one you start with. The other leg's just going to slide back. And then we're going to try here to just peel the chest up off of this knee. And wow, definitely feeling that hip flexor. Now, if this is not feeling comfortable for that back knee, then you can actually lift up to a low lunge right here. That takes the pressure off the knee. It does intensify the whole pose, so you'll feel like you're working harder to hold this, but it does help to just alleviate any pain that might be in that joint. So totally up to you, whichever feels better for you today. If you need to take a break, that's fine. I know this is intense, so feel free to take breaks, come back into it, come out of it, whatever you need, whatever your body's saying that it needs. Let's release down. And we'll switch over to the other side slowly and gently. Always gentle on the changeover. Slide that back leg back. When you peel up for the crescent pose, the tendency is to kind of push back on this leg a little bit and end up kind of in this kneeling position. We don't want that. We're forward here, the hips stay where they are, it's just the chest that lifts, and that's what provides the stretch for that back leg. Of course, the option is to come up into the low lunge. Find what feels best for you. Let's ease out of that. We're going to move into the pigeon pose. Again, we're borrowing a little from yoga just because these stretches are so wonderful for the muscles around the hips. So we're going to drop this front knee down to the side. Slide that back leg back even a little further if you can. And if possible, you want to center your hips. So the tendency is to kind of lean toward this side because it takes the pressure off that back hip. But if possible, you want to try to keep the hips really squared and even. This particular stretch has a double benefit. We're getting the glutes on this side and we're getting the hip flexor on this back leg. Again, deep, slow, relaxing breaths. Expand the belly on the inhale. Exhale the tension away. Take breaks if you need them. And feel free to modify anything that just isn't feeling good. These stretch sessions are all about feeling good, okay? Your body should feel cared for and nurtured. So if something isn't feeling right, just choose something else that works better. Let's ease out of this gently. Change over to the other side. Take a moment though to notice right now how different your two sides feel. Isn't that amazing? When you do that one intense stretch on one side, it's just like you can really tell how effective it was because your sides feel so uneven. But we're gonna fix that right now. So again, if possible, try to square up the hips, slide that back leg back as far as possible. Now I'm noticing I'm feeling a little tighter on this side. Again, it's normal to be not totally symmetrical, but it's also really valuable to learn these things about your body, because then you can be a bit more intentional about stretching the side that tends to be tighter, helping to even out perhaps some muscular imbalances. Easing out of this stretch. Now we're going to turn to the side. Just come down to a side lying position. And we're going to stretch the hip flexors on the top leg. So you're just going to bend the knee back, and if you can reach it, try to hold your ankle in your hand. And then just relax your head down and feel the stretch. Now, you'll feel this also through all of the quadricep muscles here on the front side of the thigh. And that's fine, but I'll show you in a moment how we're going to really exaggerate the work for the hip flexor and really target that muscle a little bit more. All right, so from here, what I want you to do is to try to separate your heel from your buttocks a little bit. This is very subtle. So take your foot and just bring it out a little farther. As you do that, you'll notice your legs coming back a bit and the stretch will change. You should feel it more in the hip flexor, a little more concentrated right there. Let's release and move to the other side. So again, a nice side lying position here. Now, if you like, you can actually bend this bottom knee if you feel like that gives you a little bit more stability. Bend the top knee, hold the ankle in the hand, and just stretch. Now separate your heel from your buttocks a little bit. That'll bring the leg back. And it will exaggerate the stretch for the hip flexor. Keep breathing deep. Trying to embrace the stretch, relax into it. And release down. So at this point, we're going to grab the rope and just have that handy because we're going to stretch the inner and outer thighs, the hip abductors and adductors. So go ahead and lie down on the mat. And we'll bring the loop of the rope around one foot. Bring that leg up toward the ceiling. And now let's drop this supporting leg, drop that knee down to the side, and open this leg out to the side as well. You will feel a big stretch there through the inner thighs, those hip adductors. Start to ease that leg back up. Now this other leg, we're just going to straighten it out right in front of you. And now cross the leg over to the other side. Now the stretch will change pretty significantly. Now it's in the abductors and all along the iliotibial band. Ease that leg back up to center. Release the rope and we'll come to the other side. So place the rope around the other foot. And just briefly stretch out the hamstrings here for a moment. And then when you're ready, drop this knee down to the side. The leg comes out to the opposite side and open up the hips for a nice adductor stretch. Ease the leg back up to the center. You're doing a great job. Let's extend this leg down to the mat. And then cross this top leg over, finding your boundary of tension here on this side as we stretch out the hip abductors and that IT band. Let's ease back up. We'll remove the rope and we are done with the rope for the day, so we can place that aside. And we're going to finish up with some stretches for the glutes. We're going to stretch these from a number of different angles. So I'd like you to take one leg, cross it over the other, lift that other leg up off of the mat, and just hold here for a moment, kind of hugging this knee in across toward the opposite shoulder. Now let's re-angle the stretch a bit. So now what I'd like you to do is real gently transition to where we are reaching through now and holding on to this foot and ankle, kind of cradling it in your hands. The other leg can come down to the mat. And just try to hug this foot and ankle in and up toward your chest. Let's gently release down. Take a moment to notice how each leg feels, and hopefully you'll feel a little difference at this point. We're about to even that out though. Okay, so let's go to the other side. We're gonna cross one leg over the opposite knee, lift the foot up off of the mat, hug this knee in across toward the shoulder. Re-angling the stretch. Bring the hands underneath. Hold the foot and ankle in your arms as we release the other leg down. All right, release down. You can make your way back to a seated position. And we are all done for the day. I hope that felt good. I hope that as you move through the rest of your day, you'll feel that you're able to move with a little bit more ease and freedom in your hips. It's amazing what a difference a session like this can make just to the quality of your movement in your day. So have a good one. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.